Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. For today's video, as you can probably tell by the title, I am going to share with you my personal 6 tips to get your life more organized in 2021. All of these tips are something that I use on a regular basis and I have used them for quite a while now. It's something that I'm really happy about and I feel like it makes my life much easier on certain points. But first of all, if you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Emilia and on my channel we usually do a lot of hauls and lifestyle related stuff. But for today's video I really wanted to share these tips with you because it's something that I'm really happy about myself. If you want to, don't forget to subscribe down below. I would love to have you a part of this family. That way you don't lose me in the whole YouTube world. Let's just jump straight into the video. The first thing I want to talk to you about is especially helpful if you are one of those people who are currently working from home, which I know a lot of people are. It's actually these 3 pictures behind me. As you can see, this is basically just a fancy to-do list actually. And it's something that my husband and I have been very happy about in the past. But since we've moved, we haven't really had time to put them up yet, but it's coming. We just need to, find a good place for them. But as you can see, there are 3 pictures. One is say do, then the next is say doing, and then the last is saying done. So what you use these for is your to-do list, what your plans are and stuff that you need to do, either if it's work related or maybe if it's just, at home. On the picture that says do, you can put little posters to remind yourself what you need to do, and you can even put the little date if you know exactly when you need to start doing it or when you need to have it done by. So you put them up so you always know what you have coming, and then once you start doing the task, you move it to doing. That way you can always keep track of which task you're working on right now. This is especially nice if you have multiple tasks going on at the same time. And then once you're done, you of course put the poster over to the board that says done. And this is just really nice because then you keep reminding yourself like, oh, I did a task, now I get to put it in done, and it's there. And then you can of course remove it after some time if that's what you want. My husband and I used to use these very much when we were in school studying. So you would always know which papers were you working on now, when were they due, what was coming up. And it was a really nice way of keeping track of everything. I know there's also a few websites that do something of this sort, but I really like to have it as a part of my decor because I feel like once I interact with it, somehow it's much easier to keep track of in my brain. I don't know why, but it is. These are also really easy and cheap to make. I literally just made 3 documents, writing the do, doing, done on each, and then I chose a font that I liked, and then I just printed them out and I put them in these 3 frames. I think I got these at IKEA or something. So it's really cheap and easy for you to make, and you can decorate them and make them any kind of color you want so it matches with your decor. I think this is a really nice way of keeping track of all of your tasks. The next tip I have for you is especially nice if you are a household of multiple people. It's the Google Calendar. And I know that this is something that seems really obvious, but it was something that my husband and I were struggling with before we actually transferred all our appointments and stuff onto Google Calendar, because in this calendar you can actually share it with multiple people so you can all see what you have going on. Before we used this, we would have our individual calendars and we wouldn't really share them with each other, and then we would forget to share certain events and we would be double booked and stuff like that. It was a whole thing. We transferred everything into Google Calendar and this is super easy. I think all you need to have is just a Google account, which I think basically everyone has at this point. You can share it with different people and you can actually categorize so you have multiple different calendars. So you can make one for your workplace, like your work calendar, and then you can have your personal calendars and all that stuff. And in this calendar you can also do the tasks thing. You can also put this in Google Calendar if that's something you would like. It's super easy as well. But this way we always know whenever one of us has something planned. If my husband has to work late one night, I know, so I don't accidentally plan something for the both of us that night. So I think this is a really nice thing, and you don't really realize how awesome it is until you start using it. So the next tip I have is something to do about your personal budget. I know with this whole pandemic thing, a lot of people have been laid off and are struggling with their everyday economy. So one thing I have found really helpful actually is getting a budget book. This one is ours that we used last year, and I just got this off of Amazon. If I can find it, I will link it down below, but I know that there's a ton of these out there in all different shapes and sizes and colors. I have actually actually ordered one for this year, but I just ordered some blank paper to put into this one I have here so I can customize our budget book a little bit more. But I find this super helpful because, again, I know this seems like such an obvious thing to do, but I know that a lot of people don't do this. And I know for us, it really did make a difference, because in the beginning of every month, we would sit down and we would write down all of the money that was going into our account, what we had to spend on rent and food and other bills and stuff. And just by doing that and actually visualizing your budget and knowing how much you would have each month to spend on fun stuff like shopping and going on dates and stuff, every month we would do this, we would never spend more than what we had. We would actually usually have more money to spare for the next month. And I think it's the whole, you know, just actually writing it down and knowing what you have to spend that month. It does something to your brain so you don't, you know, just spend recklessly. So this book that we used last year, we were really happy about it, but I wanted to customize it a little bit more to our specific needs this year. So each month we would start by scribbling down all of our incomes, what date it was going to arrive at our accounts, any details, and the specific amount. Then we would move on to regular payments such as rent, bills, all that kind of stuff. And just by doing this, I really feel like we got a better view of our spendings. By the end of each month, we would also go through all of our transactions and we would write them down, and that way we would know specifically how much we would spend on food, on certain items like medicine, the animals and stuff like that. So if we were slipping and spending a little too much money, it was very easy to see exactly where we had to be more focused in the next month. So I really recommend doing a budget each month. You can also do this online. I know that Excel comes with a lot of templates and stuff, and I know that you can also download them from all over the internet, but I would definitely recommend everyone to do a budget each month, because it really does help you structure your economy much more, and then you're just very much aware of what you're spending money on. But I will try to find a few different budget books. I think it's mainly gonna be from Amazon, and I will link them down below in the description box so you can see a few of the books that I would personally buy if it was me. But yeah, look into it, try it, maybe even just for a couple of months to see if you like it. It really doesn't have to take up too much time. It is fairly easy to get the hang of it. So the next tip I have for you is actually a little bit budget related as well. Not really, but it helps. So my next tip is to make a meal plan every single week. We have done this on and off for several years, and it's something that we have found really helpful, because when we do it like this, you're able to plan out your meals, so you have to buy the least amount of groceries and you only have to go out maybe once or twice a week to buy everything. That way you don't go multiple times and then you don't accidentally buy, you know, a plate of chocolate or something that you really weren't supposed to spend your money on. By making a meal plan, you're able to plan out your meals. So let's say on Monday you are having a pizza, but you know some of the toppings you're not gonna use. So then you can plan on maybe making a pasta dish on Tuesday. So you know that everything you buy will get used. That way you minimize the amount of waste that you produce. You minimize the amount of money that you're gonna spend on food. And it's just so easy to plan. We have this meal plan which we have used for quite a long time. This is again something super easy and cheap to make. I just found a menu off of Google and I printed a few out, and then we attached it to this clipboard, and then we are able to hang it on the wall in the kitchen so we can always check, you know, if we get confused. But it is super easy to make, and again, it really does not take up much time. I really recommend making a meal plan every week, or you can even make it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks at a time, whatever you feel comfortable with. It's super easy to plan for the week ahead. It's easy to do the grocery shopping. We know what we're gonna eat each day, so we don't end up, you know, at 5 o'clock panicking about what we're gonna eat and then we're gonna end up ordering out. It's good for the environment, it's good for your planning skills, and it's good for your budget. So try it out. So the next step I have is also a little bit with grocery shopping. This is something that my husband and I have been using for quite a while now. I don't know if any of you know the struggles if you live multiple people in one household, but you know when one finish the milk in the fridge and then just throws it out, and then you forget to buy more milk, and then you wake up, maybe you want some cereal, you want some milk in your coffee or whatever you're gonna do, you don't have any milk. So what we do instead, we actually use a to-do app, and this one is from I think it's from Microsoft who developed this. I'm not actually sure. I will try to see if I can find this specific app that we use, and I will link it in the description box below. But what you can use this for is several different things. It is called a to-do app, so you can do multiple different lists. We have, for example, our shopping lists, and this is what it looks like. Of course, everything is in Danish, but we're Danish people, so that's okay. It's super easy to use because every time you finish the milk, you just go straight into the app and you add it to the list. That way you always know what's missing in your fridge. You don't have to use the one that you have to stick to your fridge, which you always forget to actually take with you to the store. Have done that a few times. And again, this is something that you can share with multiple people, so everyone in your household can have access to the same list. Doing the grocery shopping will always be easy breezy, lemon squeezy, because you will always know what's missing. For my last tip of the day, again, something that seems really obvious, but I know that a lot of people don't do it. It's have a receipt organizer. This is the one we need. It is just a simple binder, and I believe you can find this in most office stores around the world. As you can see, it just opens up like this, and I have categorized each folder to whatever we need in our household. And then every time we buy something, we put it into this one. If you do end up buying something that is quite expensive, I always recommend you to keep the receipt, because if something breaks, if something is wrong with the item that you bought, most times you're able to return it. Also, this is a great thing to do in case you get robbed and you have to contact your insurance company, because most of the time I think that they are gonna need some kind of proof of what was stolen and the amount of money that you spend on it. If you have something stolen, you can go into your receipt organizer, find the specific thing, then you can mail it to your insurance company, and then they can reimburse you for the specific amount. Super easy. Also, there are a lot of people that would probably recommend you to not keep this in your house, or keep it somewhere safe where, you know, thieves can't steal this and it doesn't get burned if your house burns down and stuff like that. I get that. We don't personally do that. I mean, we do store this a place where thieves probably wouldn't think to look, but we don't keep it somewhere fireproof. I feel like if you keep this at another house, it is not as easy to use on an everyday basis. But those were the 6 tips to get your life more organized this year. I hope that you felt inspired by any of them, because these are honestly something that I use not every day, but at least every month. And I really find that it makes a difference. And I know right now in these times, a lot of people feel like they can't control anything in their life. Let's be honest, most of the time we can't. So I feel like by controlling your finances, your food plan and stuff like that, it might make it a little bit easier to cope with everything else. At least that's how I feel. I hope you found this in some way inspirational and you find yourself wanting to try a few of these tips. Don't necessarily try all of them at once. Try 1 or 2 for a couple of weeks maybe to see how you feel about it, and then you can maybe try some more if that's what you want. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these tips in the comments. I will gladly answer everything that I can. And also let me know if you end up trying anything, because I would love to know if this is something that works for others. Also, don't forget to give this video a like if you liked it. It really does help me out. And subscribe to my channel if you want more tips and tricks and fashion hauls and beauty related stuff. That's the end of this video. I hope you had a great time. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!